My name is Ryan. I'm 25, trapped in a small tech company on the city's edge, where shadows loom and secrets linger. My life is a tangled web of secrets, poised on the brink of revelation. Years have slipped away since college, but my connection with Logan endures, a fragile thread holding us together in the shadows of time. Today's tale reveals a day that changed everything, tearing apart my world and his family's in an instant. Years of friendship with Logan, but my heart pounds for his mother, Rebecca. Her warmth is inviting, a presence that lingers in the air, drawing me into every conversation. With every visit, the pull towards her intensified, our conversations stretching into the night, eclipsing everything I shared with Logan. A bond one couldn't escape. Her smile brightens the silence, her laughter carrying a warmth that is impossible to ignore. It lingers in the shadows, a relentless whisper in the dark. She stepped closer, an unspoken understanding passing between us. On my rare day off, a thrill coursed through me as I plotted to surprise Logan with an unexpected visit. In a heartbeat, I grabbed my keys and raced away, the phone call forgotten in the chaos. I thought it would be a heart-stopping, unforeseen reunion. The house stood silent, void of life, as I stepped inside. Rebecca opened the door, her breath caught in her throat, disbelief etched across her face as she stared at me. Her smile was a facade, laughter trembling beneath the weight of unspoken fears as she drew me closer. "Well, this is a surprise," she said, her smile concealing the turmoil raging within. "Logan remained silent about your coming." I masked my fear with a smile, my fingers quaking at the nape of my neck. In a heartbeat, the heavens roared with rage. Rain pounded fiercely, a merciless downpour, ensnaring them in a heartbeat of despair. Rebecca's eyes flicked to the window, tension tightening her brow. She turned back to me, a tempest of emotions swirling in her gaze. "You're not going anywhere in this weather?" she declared, her smile widening, a glint of mischief flickering in her eyes. "Your time here is just beginning." I nodded, a surge of relief washing over me at the unexpected opportunity to stay a moment longer. She led me into the living room, an oppressive silence wrapping around us as we settled into our chairs. The rain poured, a veil that separated us, as whispers lingered, thick with secrets waiting to be revealed. In the dim light of the living room, our words danced around work and life, but the haunting presence of Logan loomed, thickening the air between us. Her laughter pierced the stillness, a chilling tune that ensnared me, yet left my heart racing with doubt. Our eyes locked, a moment stretching into infinity, and in that heavy silence, I felt the spark of something undeniable. As we spoke, she leaned back, her legs crossing with a calculated elegance that sent a chill racing down my spine. Her energy waned, a fragile spark in the darkness, her smile a ghostly reminder of lost joy. It was a rush, a heartbeat caught in time, holding me captive. I tried to hide the truth, yet her eyes glimmered with understanding whenever our gazes collided. "So, Ryan," she said, her smirk slicing through the stillness, "you're unusually quiet tonight. What darkness hides behind those eyes?" Shock hits with the force of a thunderclap. I stuttered, laughter quaking on the edge of my lips. Who would have thought it would end like this? Just the two of us, trapped in the suffocating silence. She tilted her head, her eyes burning with a fierce blend of warmth and defiance. "It was a shock," she breathed, her voice quaking with unvoiced dread. "Logan is gone, and the weight of silence suffocates. Company lingers like a ghost, a fleeting comfort in the haunting silence of his absence." Her words were casual, but the warmth in her voice ignited a storm within me. Our words swirled. Then, like a lightning strike, the conversation plunged into the shadows of our hearts. She recalled the whispers of her past, the dreams that once set her soul ablaze, and the chilling changes that life had forced upon her. Every word pierced my heart, holding me captive in a whirlwind of fierce emotion. As the clock ticked away, the storm outside unleashed its fury, fierce and merciless. Rebecca's gaze flickered to the clock, then pierced through to me, her smile laced with doubt. "The storm rages on, she murmured, her gaze filled with dread. The rain lashed at the window, a furious assault that echoed the turmoil within. I nodded, my heart pounding, eyes glued to the turmoil erupting beyond the window. "I can't go home tonight," she breathed, her eyes brimming with unvoiced terror. A smile flickered across my lips, gratitude entwined with a gripping tension that surged within me. "Thank you, Rebecca. This is my entire world." She disappeared for a fleeting moment, then emerged, shrouding the couch beside me in layers of heavy blankets. Her fingers brushed mine briefly, sending a jolt of nervous energy through me. Her gaze pierced through me, a quiet dare cloaked in heat. In that fleeting moment, everything outside faded into an eerie hush. My heart raced, each beat echoing in the silence. Her gaze held mine, a fierce intensity that shattered the silence, brimming with unvoiced emotions. Her warmth wrapped around me. The intoxicating scent of her perfume clung to the air, a silent promise suspended in the tension between us. In that fleeting moment, I understood this would haunt me for eternity. She locked her eyes on mine, and in that brief instant, the fire in her gaze unleashed a tempest inside me. In that tense moment, she leaned closer, her eyes piercing into mine, fingers brushing my forehead, the touch igniting a spark that crackled in the air around us. My breath caught, her touch sparking a blaze inside me, and I leaned in, helpless against the pull of an invisible force. "Ryan," she whispered, her voice quaking under the burden of unvoiced fears. "You are nothing short of remarkable." The words lingered, suffocating, and in that moment, I broke apart. With each step closer, my heart pounded, and as I took her hand, it quivered with doubt. Her skin glowed with an irresistible warmth, a softness that ensnared him, and she lingered, unwilling to break the connection. She leaned in, lips parting slightly, a silent invitation suspended in the air, thick with tension. My heart raced, teetering on the edge as I leaned closer, lips poised above hers, a delicate tension suspended in the silence. Her touch lingered, soft yet filled with emotion, as her hand briefly rested on my cheek. We froze, our eyes meeting again, a silent truth crackling in the air between us. I drew her close, our lips colliding, the universe dissolving into silence. A tension crackled in the air, sharp and inescapable. She breathed a soft sigh against my lips, fingers clutching the back of my neck, pulling me closer, as if this moment had been inevitable, a long-awaited collision of our hearts. Her touch sent shockwaves through me, sparking a blaze I was powerless to deny. A silent force crackled in the air, an unacknowledged bond that neither of us had the courage to define. She pulled back, breath trembling, her eyes glinting with a dangerous allure. "You know," she whispered, "I never thought it would end like this. Yet, here we are, facing the dark truth that looms before us." I smiled through the tension, my heart pounding, uncertainty thick around us. Relief crashes over me like a tidal wave. The rain pounded on the windows, a furious assault, while within, an oppressive heat clung to the air, heavy with unspoken dread. She collapsed onto the couch, pulling me close. I wrapped my arms around her, gripping tightly, as if the outside world had ceased to exist. Her fingers grazed my back, each fleeting touch a spark, leaving me gasping, consumed by desire. Our lips crashed together again, a jolt of electricity, a heartbeat frozen in the air. Her hands fidgeted slightly, an unspoken tension hanging in the air between us. Her fingers brushed against my arms, a fleeting caress that ignited a storm of shivers down my spine. I struggled to suppress a smile as our lips met, the atmosphere heavy with unvoiced emotions. Her gaze cut through the air, a blend of warmth and charged anticipation. Her hand rested against my chest, as if she could feel the rhythm of my heartbeat. I leaned down, my lips grazing her neck, holding on just long enough to sense her shiver beneath my touch. Time froze as I sank into her arms, our hearts pounding in unison, the tempest outside drowning all but our connection. She sighed, a breath held in the air, her body arching just enough for my hand to find the curve of her waist, a chillingly perfect fit beneath my fingertips. Her response sparked a blaze in my soul. My hand trembled as it traced the curve of her back, the heat seeping through the fragile fabric, igniting a storm of shivers along my spine. Her whisper pierced the silence, fingers clutching my shoulder, pulling me closer with a fervor that ignited a chill within me. Her warmth enveloped me, an irresistible force drawing me in. The desire to delve into her soul gripped me tightly. Our eyes locked, a tempest raging within, threatening to consume us both. I leaned in again, our lips colliding, every heartbeat amplifying the tension of the moment. My hand brushed against her hip, and I felt her heartbeat quicken beneath my touch. She melted into me, her body a perfect match for mine, igniting a fire that threatened to consume us both. Every touch sparked a fire, a connection that was as exhilarating as it was frightening. Her gaze cut deep, a tempest of unvoiced emotions raging within her eyes. Her smile vanished as she sank into the couch, pulling my hand to her shoulder. Our fingers tangled, a heartbeat away from everything unraveling. My hand slid down her leg, the warmth pulsing beneath my palm, as I barely grazed her thigh with a whisper of a touch. The air crackled with unspoken words as we approached, our kisses stretching into eternity, each one a pulse resonating in the stillness. In that instant, everything faded. Her warmth consumed me, drawing me into a realm where time ceased to exist. As we pulled apart, breathless and bewildered, the world beyond morphed into a haunting stranger. The rain poured down, drowning the world in a suffocating stillness, trapping us in a delicate web of doubt. The flush in her cheeks was undeniable, her lips glistening from our kisses, igniting a fire of longing that consumed me. A wave of intense feeling crashed over me, drawing me closer to her, urging me to plunge into the darkness ahead. "Maybe we should seek a more inviting refuge," she murmured, her voice a seductive mix of temptation and peril. I nodded, adrenaline surging as she led me through the dark corridor to her room. The door creaked open, a chilling beckon into a realm alive with warmth, shadows swirling beneath the flickering lamp. The room, beautifully adorned, throbbed with a tension only she could unleash. She spun around, her gaze fierce, the atmosphere thick with unvoiced urgency. The door slammed, a sharp sound slicing through the silence, intensifying the palpable dread that lingered. As I approached, an overwhelming force gripped me, drawing me in like a moth to a deadly flame. My heart raced as she approached, the atmosphere heavy with anticipation. Her hand in mine burned with an intensity that anchored me, a fleeting connection in a moment we never saw coming, yet couldn't escape. With a sudden tug, I pulled her close, my fingers brushing her waist, the heat of her skin sparking a tempest inside me. Her gaze pierced through me, a spark of mischief igniting a blaze deep inside. In that instant, my strength shattered, and I drew closer, sealing our destiny with a kiss that bore the burden of all that remained unsaid. The kiss deepened, a frantic need as I pulled her nearer, our hearts pounding in the stillness. We sat close, her presence undeniably strong, as emotions swirled between us. Her hands traced my arms, exploring every contour, then gripped my hair, pulling me nearer, sparking a desperate need to plunge into the unknown. As I broke the kiss, her gaze pierced through me, igniting the raw urgency of our unspoken longing. Our foreheads met, a brief spark that unleashed a tempest inside me. Exhilaration battled with stark vulnerability. "Is this truly your desire?" I whispered, my voice trembling, barely cutting through the suffocating silence. Her smile flickered, a brief spark of understanding, while her eyes bore into my soul. Never have I felt such undeniable truth. Her voice was steady, but a tempest raged within. With that promise lingering, I leaned in again, sealing our destiny with a kiss. This time, I paused, my heart pounding as I guided her to the bed. The mattress loomed, a deceptive promise of comfort, hiding secrets beneath its surface. As she descended into the abyss, I hovered above, the air heavy with tension, a heartbeat from the edge of the unknown. I hesitated, the moment stretching between us as the storm raged outside Collarbone. Her body quaked beneath my fingers, a wordless cry echoing in the stillness. Her fingers glided along my spine, a wordless summons that urged me forward. Each inch I explored ignited a pulse of exhilaration, every gasp and sigh reverberating like a ghost in the quiet. I paused, eyes locked on her, the tension thick and suffocating. As the rain hammered against the window, her presence enveloped me, drowning out everything else, the outside world fading into nothingness. I lunged ahead, propelled by the charged connection that bound us. Every kiss sparks a blaze, every touch reveals hidden truths, drawing us into the depths of our most profound desires. Our bodies intertwined, teetering on the edge of darkness. Every heartbeat pulled us into a storm of longing, leaving me gasping, on the brink of bliss. The night thickened, shadows closed in, laughter turned to breathless gasps, and we fell into the magnetic pull of one another. Our friendship hung by a thread, morphing into a wild, beautiful chaos that loomed, ready to engulf us both. Not once did I imagine the night would twist into this chaos. With each heartbeat, we were pulled closer, trapped in a delicate web of longing. Fatigue consumed me, and I fell beside her, my arm encircling her shoulders, a silent promise in the haunting quiet of the night. We gasped, our breaths mingling, confronted by the chilling whispers of our connection. Her fingers brushed my chest, a fleeting caress that ignited a storm of chills within me. I leaned in, my lips brushing against her forehead, the warmth of her body sparking an intense flame inside me. Tonight was incredible, I whispered, my heart pounding with a whirlwind of unnameable emotions. She turned to me, her smile a fleeting spark in the darkness. She breathed, her eyes shimmering with a blend of victory and hidden truths. Could I truly accept this? A shadow of doubt hangs thick and suffocating. As we drifted into sleep, the rain outside quieted, but inside, a tempest unleashed its fury. Our hearts, irrevocably changed by this night of unexpected longing, throbbed with a chilling urgency. In that instant, a flame flickered, a haunting prelude to the chaos ahead, a story steeped in desire, treachery, and the electrifying rush of unforeseen passion loomed ahead. We lay entwined, breathless, the silence heavy with what remained unsaid, the heat between us palpable. The world outside stirred, yet shadows clung tightly, murmuring of the devastation that remained. The rain slowed, a ghostly rhythm against the window, amplifying our quiet whispers and trembling laughter, each note heavy with unvoiced dread. On the brink of sleep, the doorbell's shrill cry sliced through the stillness, yanking me into a realm of dread. I froze, breath hitching, as her eyes locked onto mine. Her eyes widened, a tempest of shock and fear raging inside. The moment crashed upon us, breaking our fragile dreams. Her son, my friend, returned, and the atmosphere pulsed with unvoiced dread. Is it really him? She began, her voice quaking, nearly swallowed by the darkness. It's him, I breathed, my heart racing wildly. We scrambled to regain our composure, but the frantic chaos of sheets and clothing only intensified the storm within. The doorbell rang once more, urgent and piercing, electrifying my very core. Hurry! Conceal yourself, she whispered, her eyes brimming with terror. I surveyed the room, my pulse quickening, desperate for a way out of the looming shadows. In an instant, I dove into the closet, pressing my back against the icy wall, the frantic beat of my heart reverberating in the stillness. I held my breath, every nerve tingling, straining to hear the whispers of fate lurking just beyond the bedroom door. Mom? Are you listening? She swung the door to the living room wide, her heart pounding, a whirlwind of emotions colliding as she shifted from flustered to poised in a heartbeat. Yes, I'm here, she replied, her voice steady, masking the storm that churned inside her heart. She lingered just beyond the closet door, a shadow of tension and mystery, her calm masking the tempest within. In that charged instant, her grace was utterly mesmerizing. Did the storm ensnare you? He stepped inside, unaware of the suffocating weight of unspoken words that surrounded him. I held my breath, yearning for a glimpse of his expression, wondering just how deeply he understood. "Just a little shower," she whispered, her voice quaking with unspoken dread. "But I'm still standing." What transpired today? It was more than good. It was a moment that hung in the air, thick with unvoiced emotions. I believed we had a moment to share. "Of course," she whispered, her gaze flickering to the bedroom door, a chill of realization washing over her. I gasped, my heart pounding, as the moment lingered, poised on the brink of the unknown. Would she have the courage to let him step inside? Would he sense the weight of the silence? "I'll be right there," she breathed, casting a quick glance at the door, her every step a frantic race against time. Her eyes blazed with an intense fire, a desperate need to grasp this ephemeral chance. "Hurry, get dressed," she urged, her heart racing alongside mine. I hurriedly dressed, grappling with the tempest of my swirling emotions. The rustle of bags shattered the stillness, each sound reverberating like a racing heartbeat. My friend paced the living room, eyes darting. But what was the truth they sought? The air crackled with tension. Is he aware? The truth looms, a suffocating presence, ready to explode into chaos at any second. Just act like all is well. We will uncover the path. With one last, haunting glance, we braced for the unforgiving embrace of reality's return. From the darkness, I stepped forward, my heart pounding, and found my friend turning, a grin stretching across his face, unaware of the storm brewing beneath the surface. "At last, you stand at the threshold. I was starting to think you were dodging me," he laughed, oblivious to the electric tension hanging in the air. Her voice was steady, but a fleeting glance betrayed the tempest of unspoken words raging between us. As darkness descended, laughter rang out, a delicate mask over the brewing storm and the heavy silence of unvoiced secrets that lingered in the atmosphere. My heart raced, shadows of our passion lingering, a haunting reminder of what we lost. In that fleeting moment, the air was thick with unspoken tension, a heartbeat away from chaos. Friendship dangled precariously, on the brink of an abyss that promised more than mere companionship. The warmth surrounded us, but the shadow of the unknown hung heavy in the air. My heart raced as I understood. This was just the beginning of a story neither of us could predict, a stunning turmoil poised to erupt.